let me go back to the previous example where we calculate the area of a circle. So here we have only one condition, and we make our decision based on whether the radius is less or equal than 0 or not, right? So either setting this Boolean variable to false or true. Many times, not to say sometimes, we want to use multiple conditions to either go with true or false statement. So for that, we're gonna use logical operators or Boolean operators, right? So here we have three cases where we have either a logical conjunction, a logical disjunction, or a logical exclusion. And here we have what is called a logical negation. Okay, so let me go to this code that I've here. That is, I'm gonna call it test operator. And actually, let me just block this. I'm not using this right now, so I'm gonna add a block comment here. Okay, so here I'm just gonna define a variable. I'm gonna call it Boolean my condition. Okay, I'm gonna call it condition, and then I'm gonna set this guy to false. Okay, and then I'm gonna have a second condition. Right, so I'm gonna put here second condition. I'm gonna try the first operator, which is negation. So I'm gonna say here this is not condition. Okay, and let's see what happens here. Okay, so I'm gonna print second condition. Okay, and then I'm just gonna print this statement. I need to make sure that I write in here second condition. Okay, so here when I print this guy, notice that it prints true, right? So second condition is the negation or the negation of condition. If I change this guy to true, let's see what happens. It prints false, right? One is the opposite of the other, and technically that's what happens when you have the logical negation, right? You just basically reverse your condition. Let's look at this case where we have the and or exclusive. Okay, so with the and condition, if both conditions are false, then the logical conjunction it will be false. If either one is false, it will be set to false. Both conditions they need to be true in order to be true, right? So here we have this case where we have the age is 24 and the gender is false. So here, if you are testing this condition, age greater than 18 and gender equal to false, this will be true, right? Now let's check how this works. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with that example now. Okay, so here I declare two variables. One is of the integer type, which is equal to 24. The one is the gender is a character type, which is equal to false. And here I'm defining a variable that is called isTrue. Now it's saying if age is greater than 20 and gender is equal to female, then basically this guy, in this case, this is true and this is true, so it will be true. So let's try. Right, so here you see that is true. Now let's put gender equal to greater than 26. So now this condition is gonna be false. Right, so this is false and true, making my statement false. Now let's go back to 20 and then let's try male or anything different than F. Okay, so now it's false because this is true and false. False. The other condition is or. Okay, so these are the two most common, and or. So in this case, either one if either one is true, then makes my condition true. Okay, but now if both conditions are true, it's also true, right? So the only way this guy is going to be set to false is if both conditions are false. Okay, so let's try that. So now instead of using the AND, I'm going to use OR, right? So you have to look for those two bars. Usually it's above the enter key. So let's try this. So now it's gonna be true, right? Because 24 is greater than 20. So this statement here is true. Okay, but this one is false. Let's make this guy false by putting here a 26 again. But let's make this one true by saying that it's female. So now it's also true, right? The other one, which is the exclusive OR, is the at sign, or the hat sign, I will say. So in this case, this is exclusive OR. If both conditions are the same, okay, like false, false, true, true, it will be set to false. But if both conditions are different, then it will be set to true. Okay, so this is not very common to use, but it will work the same. It depends on what you're doing. Okay, so now let me try the hat. Shift 6 usually. Okay, so let me make both true. So I'm gonna say this is 20, right? So now this is true, hat true. I'm gonna run that. It's false, right? Both conditions are true. Let me put both conditions false. 26 and male. Right, so this both conditions are false. Let me run this. It's also false, right? So if both conditions are true, both conditions are false, it will not work. Okay. Here you have a nice program. I recommend looking through this program. This one you can check if numbers are divisible by 2 or by 3. Right, so for that you will use the mod function. You can see here that if the number mod 2 is 0, that means that this number is divisible by 2. And here number mod 3 divisible by 0, it means that this number is divisible by 3. So in this case, it's divisible by both. Here you have a separate if statement. Notice that we don't use the else if. And then you check if the number is also divisible by 2 or 3. Okay, and here you will use the add condition to check if the number if it's divisible by 2 or 3, but not both. Right, so this is a good example of using the add condition, because if this is true and this is true, then this will be set to false. Okay, so take this listing and see how that works.